Okay, we are live, but we got to let it breathe just for a moment while we bring on Facebook and Instagram. Then we're going to get this bad boy cooking. It's going to be a gas. Okay. All right, looking good. And oh, wait, what's this saying? Oh, are you kidding me, dude? What is that one? Okay, we'll just not stream to the podcast page. That's weird. I'll have to see if I can reconnect it here in a minute. I'm not going to keep people waiting much. Wait, what? Uh, hey Zach, do me a favor, big dog. I
What's
know
up?
this is kind of weird. Here, I'm gonna intro us for a second. All right, I'm gonna intro us, and then I'm gonna serve it over to you to do some hellos. Maybe grab a super chat. I gotta reconnect. It just told me now that I gotta reconnect our Facebook destination. So, guys, it's the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zach, we got a game to preview tonight. It feels good to kind of be back in that posture, big dog.
Yeah, we're starting off hot off the bat, aren't we, Chad? But I want to say some hellos to the people that are in the chat early. Of course, David Yunkin, evening, everyone. We'll get to Zach Wilson's performance today, everything, David, about practice. What's up, Todd? We got Patrick, Lion Coffee Extraordinaire. What's up, Patrick? We got Woofy Malott. I'll touch on the super chat really quickly. I see from David McElrath, as always, as consistent as the day is long. $5 super. Thank you so much, David. Good evening, Broncos country. Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. God bless the USA. 12-5. Buckham times 3. MHH for life. Denver Broncos for life. And Knicks for 6. Good to see you as always. We have our moderator in here, DVA, Dylan Von Arks. Appreciate you as always, bro. William Catalano. We got Jermaine chiming in. Monica, what's up? Good to see you hanging out with us again. I think I got Tucson Phil really quickly, and we got Unique Prepping. I think we're caught up for now, Chad. How we looking?
Got the connections made, so that was really weird. Normally, if you fall, I don't know what, it's something that Facebook requires of these third-party streamers platforms. Like after a certain amount of time, you have to reconnect your connection or whatever. And normally they let you know long before you're trying to go live, not while you're hitting the go live. So that was harsh, but yeah, Zach. So we have a preseason game, and we're finally getting back at it. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, big dog, on Facebook. Appreciate the stars, my man. We're finally kind of coming out of the NFL desert for real. Like it's been great having training camp. Don't get me wrong. It's certainly like manna from football heaven after the 6-week NFL summer, but there's nothing duplicates even an exhibition game. Like the preseason's coming up Sunday, Broncos-Colts. And what's cool about this one, Zach, is we get to continue to see this quarterback competition unfold. What do you expect to see in terms of maybe rep share, order of who plays, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, you're right about having the live bullet reps, about getting the game action. It's very important to kind of hit other people and go against other people, not your own. So it's good for the whole team. But on offense, with the quarterback split, I'm not going to overreact, Chad, and I caution Broncos country not to either. If Bo Nix isn't starting Sunday's game, if it's Jarrett Stidham, it's just the way the order goes, and maybe the veteran gets seniority there. But couple series, I think for the first couple for Nix and for Stidham, maybe they split the quarter and a half, and Zach Wilson, the distant QB3, no matter what the depth chart says, Chad, that was released earlier this week. I think he'll get most of the second half. And don't be surprised if Zach Wilson, who looked good today in practice, absolutely shreds, future real estate agents, Chad, and UPS drivers in the fourth quarter of the preseason game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how it shakes out as far as like the order, who plays, how much everyone plays, what units. I mean, Bo Nix was obviously I found it interesting. I know that Tom and Luke talked a lot about this yesterday, last night's show, Mile High Insiders, but I got to bring it up because I thought it was interesting. Bo Nix, they decide to, I mean, Sean Payton is like, I got to tell you, Zach, Sean Payton is one of the trolling experts of the world, dude. Like, he knows how to kind of bug people, right? And like have a damn good time while he's at it. So not only does he not list a single rookie higher than the third team on his initial depth chart. But then, amidst all the scrutiny and media buzz about the fact that Bo Nix, the first rounder, is QB3, then he like says, okay, and by the way, here's Bo. Puts Bo on the spot the next day, right? At the podium. And Bo Nix is like, he finally gets asked, he gets asked 3 or 4 questions. Finally, it's like, hey, Bo, how do you take it? And I was proud of him. Said I couldn't care less. Many people go, I could care less. It's like, no, that means you actually care. If you could care less, you care. Pet peeve. But he said, couldn't care less. And then they kind of doubled down and he kind of had a glint in his eye. Like, hey, I knew I was going to get asked this. Couldn't care less. And then they come back to him. Bo, but this, that, and the other, da-da-da-da-da, your thoughts. I couldn't care less. And it was kind of like, next question. Everything moved on. I loved seeing that, but it also showed Zach a little bit of kind of some fire there. Like, I don't know some pride. I liked seeing it.
Well, we have the video queued up of Bo Nix answering that very question, Chad.
Hit it.
He said he put the rookies all at the back of the depth chart, but before it came out, there was hubbub on social media, all that, and you listed at number 3. Did you kind of notice that commotion or anything like that?
Couldn't care less.
Okay. So is that generally on the depth chart? You don't care how you're listed at this point, I guess. Honestly.
Couldn't care less.
Well, do you?
I love it, dude. The first time, kind of a serious, I couldn't care less, right? Then he looks away. Second time, a little bit of a smile, glint in his eye, because he knows, dude, just like Sean Payton tried to convey the day before, it's meaningless. It's because the NFL mandated a depth chart. And so Sean Payton, kind of being Zach, the rebel that he is, and the troll artist. What's up, Ronk? Love you, big dog. He's like, oh, if you're going to make me put one out right now, then I'm going to at least have some fun with this. Yeah, Bo Nix is our third guy. And it's like not congruent with anything we've seen since training camp began.
I'm not going to overreact to that one clip, but I feel like Bo Nix's predecessor would have answered the question a little differently, Chad. Would have launched into how much he loves every single teammate in the locker room, how fortunate he is to be there. So I do like a little bit of the fire that you're interpreting from that. And about the depth chart, I feel like it's archaic and it should be done away with at this point, making teams put out a depth chart before week 1 of the preseason. I think it's still reflective, Chad, of when the preseason was 4 games. And it's not 4 games anymore, so they should really just do away with it.
I like this, too, from Scott, and then you wonder why Sean Payton gets crap from the media. I've definitely figured it out now. I mean, it took me a minute because we had to get to know this Sean Payton cap, but, yeah, it's pretty clear why he has a slightly adversarial kind of dynamic with the media. We've got the Duchess jumping in with a super chat, Michaela Parker.
Thank you, Michaela.
So good to see you tonight. She wants to talk about the amazing Devaughn Vele catch. She said, heard amazing things about the rookie 7th round wideout. Heard he's been shining, made an amazing catch today. Can't wait to watch him. We could display it. I mean, we can show that. It's just on Twitter, right, Zach?
Yeah, I actually have the article up on MHH on the website, and it's included in there. But yeah, Michaela, he made the best play of training camp thus far, the best catch of training camp thus far, a one-handed, physics-defying grab reminiscent of Odell Beckham Jr.'s iconic catch a few years ago. And feast for yourself.
Yeah, here it is. Whoa! There you go. Here, one more time. I'm gonna see. How well can you see it? Is it real small?
It's a little small.
Let me try it like this and get rid of this Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever is going on over here. Okay, one more time. Here we go. Oh, sound it. Whoa! I tell you what, Zach, that's really cool. My elbow would have been broken into 150 places. So like I'd be at the hospital right now. So props to Vele for that one, dude. But yeah, she says, can't wait to watch him. It's good to see him, shining. It's hard to say, I should say, where he fits in exactly, but he's got a little bit of momentum, Zach, if he can carry it forward. I mean, Vance Joseph on a separate subject was talking about it today, how big of when you look at, say, the whole decision on who gets a job and who makes the roster and all these things as a pie chart, the preseason takes up a big chunk of that. So how Vele and the other rookies perform in these 3 games will dictate that.
Yeah, and William, I don't know where you heard that Vele was out and Browning was out. They both had tremendous practices today, so it's good news on that front. And yeah, Chad, I think Vele has a lot of momentum, not just a little bit. And I'll be the first one to admit, I thought he was like a practice squad candidate coming into the offseason and training camp. And now he's wide receiver 5. I think with the grab he made and the consistent plays that he's making, Joe Lombardi talked about it, Chad. Sean Payton talked about it. He's a lock for the 53 for my money.
We'll see. Howie, what's up, big dog? Howie frickin' day in the frickin' house. It's always great to see you, my friend. Appreciate the stars, as always. I want to grab this here from Todd Ostendorf. See, I remember these things. He says, I thought they covered the plan the other day. Plan is Stidham with this to start with the ones. Yes, that we knew for sure. First preseason game, then Nix takes over in that game. Then Nix starts the second game with the ones. We knew for sure, Zach, that Stidham was going to start this first game, but maybe I missed it if Coach Payton confirmed Nix is going to start the second one. That would be news to me.
They talked about it today, that they're going over playing time for the Colts game tonight. So as we speak, they're going over how they're going to divvy up the reps. I don't know that anything's been decided, but again, if you want Nix to start week 1 at Seattle, don't overreact if Jarrett Stidham is starting Sunday against the Colts. A process is playing out as Sean Payton wants it to.
Oh, sorry. We'll grab Monica. But like as Doug is saying there, no one's been named it. Sean Payton being the starter for game 1, I fully expect it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. But Monica jumping in. What's up? Great to see you again tonight. She says, hey, Chad, is it possible we see Bo Nix play a full preseason game? Safe for more reps and experience. Thoughts? I would love to see it, but it doesn't really work out that way in the league, period. And, I can remember, this is going way back. Some of you can probably join me on this trip down memory lane, but Tim Tebow, both of the years that he was here in the summer, so it was rookie year 2010 and then 2011, man, he saw a lot of time, especially the second year when it was just he and Orton. The first year, they split it up. It was Orton, Brady, Quinn. Golly, man, that was a long time ago. My brain's going, who is the number 9? Oh, yeah, Quinn. And Tebow. But the second year he was here, the second summer, they played him a lot because Fox knew the whole time, John Fox that is, that they weren't going to name Tebow the starter out of camp. It was going to be Orton. So they're like, give the kid the reps. And that was a very unique situation. In this case, I think you'll see the kid play quite a lot. But if you don't see him play that much, Zach, it could be a sign of kind of the coaches going, yeah, we don't want to expose the guy who's going to be our starter.
Exactly. Yeah. There's 2 scenarios where Bo Nix would have played a full preseason game or would, is if he was actually QB3, which we all know he's not, and if he was a project, which we all know he's not. He doesn't really need the reps so much in preseason, Chad, if you want to start him in the regular season, because not only his experience coming out of college, but the way he's grasped the offense so far. He talked about it yesterday. He said the game is already slowing down for him. That's after 11 training camp practices. He has more command of the huddle. He has more leadership on the field. He's putting the ball in the right places. He's looking ahead in his development. So like you said, I wouldn't risk Bo Nix out there for an entire game. I'm not chancing my number 12 overall pick to potential injury just for some, snaps against 4th and 5th stringers. There's no upside there.
I mean, one of the great things about Bo Nix is 2 things, Zach. One, Sean Payton talked about, when they actually had their private workout with Bo Nix, the Broncos. You look at a scouting report and you can read his size. You go, okay, he's this tall, weighs this much. But he was struck in person by kind of how thick he was from the waist down. That impressed him for whatever reason.
Awesome.
And then you look at his injury jacket. That's one of the things that was intriguing about and attractive for teams to Bo Nix was the dude just doesn't get hurt. Now I'm saying that, knocking on wood, he's pretty tough, I guess, Zach, is what I'm trying to say. And smart enough, if the ball's coming out on time, and as Peyton said, he's a tough sack, he's a hard sack. It's hard to sack that dude. You're not taking too many unnecessary hits. It's not like back in the 80s with Scott. What was the Green Bay Packers guy that body slammed McMahon after the whistle and ended his season? Anyway, it's not like those days.
No, and you're right in that he's not injury prone. He doesn't have that label, and he is a durable and tough player. But Chad, all it takes is one wrong step.
True.
All it takes
Yeah.
is one wrong hit, and it's just not worth it. Get him a little experience over the course of 3 preseason games in the first half, pull him out, and then set him for Seattle.
Hey, what does it look like I'm drinking right now?
Bottled water.
Well, until I turned it up and you could see it was clear, it probably looked like maybe an adult beverage. But
No.
dude, I've gone hook, line, and sinker over this, like, what, Topo Chico, whatever, carbonated water. Like, I never could have cared. I always could have cared less. I couldn't have cared less. I'm breaking my own rule. But like, I'm trying to drink more water, and I just don't like to drink water. Do you like to drink water? Some people love drinking
I
water. I
love
don't like
water.
it. You love water.
Yeah.
To me,
The only thing that quenches you, Chad, is water. Truly quenches you.
not me. I'll tell you that. Like, anyway, it doesn't matter. But that's one thing different about us, right? Like, for me, I have to really want to drink water. Like, I have to sit there. I'm like chugging it. I don't sit and enjoy water, but I need to drink more water. It's a thing for me right now. So I'm trying this stuff, and I love it, dude. I love it for whatever it's worth. Phil, what's up? Down in Tucson, knows what it means to stay hydrated, especially this time of year. Water. Great to see you, big dog. Saying just watching Drake Maye looking pretty good. Just love the fact I can watch football. Can't wait till Sunday. Buck 'em, MHH for life, Broncos for life. Indeed. Yeah, Maye, it's only a matter of time before Maye sees the field, probably sooner than later, right? As the number 3 overall pick, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm rooting against him or rooting for him. He's a guy that, one of a handful that Chad and I were both on board with if the Broncos were to have pursued him, that we would rally behind that pick. But we'll see how he does out there in New England. His supporting cast isn't exactly encouraging. And now that they're passing on Brandon Ayuk, I kind of shudder at the fact of who Drake Maye is throwing to in year 1. But not our problem.
Not our problem. And I don't mind seeing the Patriots suffer. You know what I mean? Even though Belichick and Brady are gone, I'm not hating on seeing them go through some regrowing pains, Phil, great to see you, big dog. Thank you, buddy. What do we got? What's the YouTube clip? Oh, Charles Martin. Yeah, that was the guy's name that body slammed McMahon. Oof. That was so dirty, dude. Like, penultimate dirt. Okay. Zach, let's get to some of the look aheads, right? Like, we're not going to try and really get too serious about keys to victory or anything like that, but rather, matchups also. We're not really worried about matchups. We're talking about players to watch, position battles to kind of watch unfold in the game. Obviously, quarterback is quarterback. We've already talked quite a lot about quarterback. Doesn't mean we won't continue to, but what are some of the other position battles in particular you're looking forward to on Sunday, and why?
It's not the sexiest. You might talk about running back or receiver, but I want to see how the offensive line, and for that matter, the defensive line, plays against, another opponent in a real live game situation. It's so hard to grade offensive line play in training camp, and you have to see it like in a game setting. So Wattenberg at center, if Forsyth is in second string, how he does, because he could start in the future, how their backups and swing guys are coming along. And when they're on the field, Chad, I want to see how the starting 5 pass protects. Obviously, that's important, but run blocks, because they were so dreadful at times last season. Run blocking, I want to see a step forward in that department on Sunday.
And I want to see how much of it was just the offensive line struggling to move guys, or how much of it was because they were an unbalanced offense. Defenses were able to just stack the box and making it really that much more difficult on the O-line guys to move dudes. I mean, it just didn't ever quite feel fair. That's not as an excuse, but just because nobody respected Russ in that they're going to beat him unless it's like a deep ball. So they kept their single high back there and watched for a sprint, type of route. But otherwise, Zach, it was load the box, stop the run. I think that was a bigger reason than people realized behind, Javante's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And just overall, despite Sean Payton staying committed, with only a couple of exceptions, staying committed to the run game, it didn't really produce much fruit for the team.
No, it did not. And Javante's poor vision didn't help last season either, and his returning from injury. But that's hopefully a thing of the past. I want to see how Blake Watson runs behind that line. I want to see how Estime runs behind that line. It's very important the Broncos surround Bo Nix with a dominant rushing attack, Chad. That is the key to not just victory on Sunday, but victory for the whole season in 2024.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so Taylor jumping in. Great to see you, big dog. He said, it seems like Bo has been consistent so far, while Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson have been the opposite. Especially, I heard they outdid Bo today. I don't know if it's true. Go Broncos. Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, to call it fair, all credit where it's due. I think this was Zach Wilson's best practice in training camp by far today. Had a couple nice touchdown passes, made no major errors, turnovers, things like that. And it's one practice, but I could say objectively that those two quarterbacks were better than Bo. Not to say Bo was bad. He just wasn't as, I guess, flashy. The splash plays weren't as prevalent with him under center, but he didn't do anything to lose ground either, Taylor.
What number is Maye rocking, dude? He's 4, right? Or did they give him?
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't mean to derail us. No, that's not Drake Maye. Who is that? Oh, that's Bailey Zapp. What's his name?
Zappy.
Am I tripping? Yeah, it's Zappy. Okay, sorry.
He's number 10, apparently.
So, yeah. So what? So what? They already pull him? I just decided after the comments, I'm like, I might as well pull it on while we're chatting and have the game running on my phone. They already pulled the rook. I don't know. Taylor, my brother, I wouldn't worry about it. The big thing for Bo Nix right now is he's already shown a lot. It's really exciting. But just like they said, again, I'm just going to read to you real fast here what I'm talking about for the preseason, Vance Joseph, all that stuff. He said this was specific to Zach, the inside linebacker competition between Cody Barton and Jonas Griffith. And he said, quote, it's, how hard it is for them to separate themselves, blah, blah, blah. Quote, it's not hard. It's practice, and there are going to be games starting up on Sunday. Obviously, the games carry a lot of weight for guys competing for jobs, close quote. That's especially true, Zach, for the quarterback position. So what you want to see in practice from Bo Nix is consistency, and I think that's one of the great things so far. One of the reasons why people have been excited with Bo Nix is his consistency, and when he does have an off day, it's like pretty negligible. You're like today, he didn't throw a 50-yard touchdown. Not his best practice. It's like, okay, well, if that's how we're measuring whether a guy had a great practice, what are we doing? But the key, Zach, is going to be, can you carry it forward into the preseason and not only maintain that consistency, but actually build momentum there? That's where the killer mindset and the killer instinct comes into play, and where I'll be curious to see if my prediction comes true, that the cream rising to the top. That's where we need to see it for sure.
Yeah, well said. Consistency, number one, and also something he's shown that I kind of want to see but don't at the same time, Chad, is resiliency, his ability to bounce back after a mistake. And why I say that is because the Colts are a very well-coached team, especially on defense. They know their assignments, they're fast, they hit hard. So if Bo Nix throws a pick, which could happen, not only does that not mean he shouldn't start week 1, but I want to see if he gets another series after that, Chad, how he responds, if what we saw in training camp in that department will carry over when the lights are brighter and the bullets are flying.
Indeed. Taylor, again, thank you, big dog. It's like Jody's saying here, I just want to see Bo play. You're going to see Bo play in just a couple of short days. It's going to be a gas. Ronks enjoying himself some Olympic basketball. He says, Steph, LeBron lead the USA back to win the game. Yes, indeed. Yeah, they did come back against Serbia. Very cool. Okay, Zach. So we've talked a little bit about offense. What about defense, man? Like we were just talking about, I just mentioned what VJ said about inside linebacker. It's obviously come down to Barton and Griffith in terms of the, who's going to start next to Alex Singleton. Alex is a lock for a starting job, but what do you expect to see there?
Barton, I think, is close. I mean, I don't know. Jonas Griffith has had a really good training camp, and he might push. And also, Lavelle Bailey, Chad, the undrafted rookie from Fresno State, is someone that Sean Payton has singled out publicly a couple times in a positive way. He actually called Vele to convince him to sign with him after the draft. And then yesterday he complimented him in his consistency in practice, and he's anxious to see how he performs on special teams and on defense. So he's one guy to watch. But inside linebacker competition, and also who the hell is starting opposite PS2? It's been very shaky in the secondary, not even talking safety, but cornerback. Kris Abrams-Draine, for my money, until Levi Wallace is fully healthy, should be in the driver's seat. As much as it pains me, Riley Moss is still inconsistent. He has up and down days. And Damari Mathis looks like a failed project at this point, Chad. They got a half a good season out of him, and he's taken major steps back since. So I want to see who steps up in the secondary and specifically at cornerback.
It's interesting what VJ said today about Abrams-Draine on the improvements he's made since the spring. Quote, he came back confident. His spring was a little choppy. He's a young guy, and it's his first NFL camp. He wasn't sure from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint, but he came back confident. He's made plays, obviously. He's not where he should be as far as the final product, but he's playing well. He's competing, close quote. And obviously he mentioned too today, Zach, it sucks not having Brandon Jones, Levi Wallace, both dealing with injuries, but how that is helpful for the younger guys. That's the silver lining, is creates opportunity for the younger guys down the depth chart to not only shine, but for the team really, Zach, to see what they have in their in its depth.
Yeah, it's just a little disconcerting, I guess, in Riley Moss's case, in my opinion, Chad. I mean, he lost a year to injury. He's fully healthy coming into his sophomore season, and he should be higher on the depth chart by now than he is. Levi Wallace was kind of a mid player in Pittsburgh, and then he went on, I forgot where he was, Buffalo,
then Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so, you still need a long-term fixture there, and also he already has one hamstring, Wallace does. And I'm not advocating, I'm knocking wood, but there is a chance that it gets re-aggravated or it happens again. And then who steps up? It should be Riley Moss. And the fact that he hasn't taken hold of that spot yet, Chad, again, it's just a little worrisome.
Well, I mean, we used to joke about Sean Payton. Is the question white corner? Maybe he's not destined to play corner in the league. Maybe he's a guy that the team eventually goes, we love that football brain. We love his athleticism.
We'll make him Jim Leonard instead.
Maybe, seriously. Like, dude, could you the level of everything you have to have put together to succeed on the boundary in the NFL is insane. Not only the quick twitch and the athletic capability, which there is a question of whether he's got that. I don't think so, but there is a question, meaning I don't think should be a question. I think he can hang. He just needs exposure. You need to put him on the field and let him just play. Let him get up to speed. The football IQ side of things, we know is not a problem for Riley Moss. So it is like, how much of this do we really read into the fact that, he's not the guy getting his hand on the ball in these passes and stuff? I'm withholding judgment on the CB2 competition till I see something in a game, right? I want to see how this comes together in a preseason game. Naj Altaf in the house, a legendary, mythical Mount Rushmore figure here at MHH. So great to see you, big dog. He says, hey, brothers, it's looking like Stidham is the front runner, but not by much. I'm struggling with the prospect of Nix losing game experience if Stidham starts. Of course, we want wins, but is Stiddy that far ahead of Nix? He's not. No. And that's why I've said from the very beginning, Naj, a small margin is bad news. Even if Stidham is just a thumbnail better than Bo Nix, it favors the rookie. In order for me as the guy, I'm this quarterback guru named Sean Payton, Zach, and I scoured the entire class and I decided this is my guy. And I put my you-know-what on the table and I invested a number 12 overall pick, first rounder, top 15 guy. Boom. In order for me to not play that dude, if he's doing well, in order for me not to play him, I got to have a guy. Sean Payton talked about this before the draft, how you typically make the decision to go with a rookie or not. Do you have a guy? Do you have a bona fide starting guy? Stidham looks like the part, Zach, in terms of, the incumbent, command, control of the offense, all that. But that was more impressive early on, as both Nix and Zach Wilson, for what it's worth, have gained experience in the scheme and are repping it out every single day. that veteran savvy, clearly the more comfortable guy thing is becoming minimal. And what we're actually seeing in terms of separation is the killer instinct. Like, where's the cashews, Zach, to not only recognize the opportunity for a big play, but to have the confidence to pull the trigger on it. That's what the best quarterbacks in the league do. They protect the ball. They walk that line of protecting the ball and being a predator. When they see an opportunity, they're unafraid to pull the trigger. Stidham still looks, to me, I'm sorry, like even in a practice setting, I love the way that Cecil put it, and I'm going to serve this back to you, Zach. Yep. Cecil Lammey, I love the way he put it. To paraphrase him, Jarrett Stidham looks like he's trying not to lose the job. That's just a bad mindset, dude. Whereas Bo Nix is trying to win it. That's what you want. You want someone out there trying to win, not trying not to lose. You might say, semantics. No, there's a big philosophical difference between those two things.
Huge. I mean, when you play not to lose in the NFL, 99% of the time you end up losing the game. But I got to be honest, Chad, and this is my own conspiracy, whatever, my own opinion. I think Sean Payton decided about a week ago that Bo Nix was going to be the week 1 starter. I think the reason he held on to Zach Wilson, the reason he listed Stidham as QB1 and had this open competition was just to test Bo Nix and see if he could hang. If he wasn't going to fall flat on his face and look irreparably bad, Paxton Lynch level out of the gates. And the fact that not only he hung with them, Bo Nix has shined. You could argue he's had only one bad practice, but even in that practice where he threw a couple picks, he came back strong at the end and threw a couple touchdowns. He hasn't fallen at all in training camp, and I think he's shown enough already where Sean Payton could say, okay, you're pretty much as advertised. We trust you.
Well said. And Naj, love you, bro. You know this. So stoked to see you on September 15th. Really looking forward to it.
Quickly, too.
Yeah, dude. It's barely over a month till the MHH meet and greet. So can't wait to see you there, big dog. It's going to be like a family reunion. I'll keep, hey, clearly Canadian. Is it carbonated Pearl? Because that's what I'm feeling. I like to have that slight burn going down. Is it carbonated? I used to hate carbonated water. Now I'm like kind of into it. It's really weird, Zach. I don't know. The person I've become. I'm like Trent Reznor. What have I become? Johnny Cash, covered the song. All right, George, let's see what's on George's mind. My sweetest friend. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone I know, goes away. Scott. In the end. And you could have, come on, guys, 9 Inch Nails, Hurt, that was covered by Johnny Cash. That was the Johnny Cash Swan Song single, pulling it out. I'm ashamed right now. I'm ashamed you guys don't know at least the Johnny Cash version. Yeah, dude. George, when do you see us getting a look at Bo? After halftime? That's when I feel they'll bring him out. What do you think, Zach?
No chance. They wait. They give Stidham a whole half in the first preseason game. I think he's going to come in sometime in the first quarter. I don't know exactly when, but Sean Payton talked about the starters playing about 15, 20 snaps at most. So if Stidham starts, 20 snaps would be about, what do you think, Chad? Like midway through the first quarter? That's when Bo Nix would come in. Or so.
Yeah, well, snaps are, they would script. It just depends on game flow and everything, but Mike Shanahan would script the first 15 to 20 plays, and that usually would consume the first quarter, but sometimes it would go into the second. Just depends on game flow. But yeah, dude. Yeah. Rusty Cage, pretty cool stuff. Exactly, Greg. Yeah, that's exactly right. My dog hurt myself today to see if I still feel. Exactly. It's just a classic song. Scott, you would like it. I don't know about my rap connoisseur part right here, Zack Kelberman, but I bet you would dig it too, Zach. Especially, I like the 9 Inch Nails version the most, the original, the guy that wrote the song. But the Johnny Cash version is cool because it's this old ass man voice, like he's just old. And so it kind of, both songs have this emotional, the way they're sung by the two different artists have this like emotional thing to it. But the old man, it's kind of like a little bit more poignant. I don't know your version for sure. Well, just when we're off this stream, you got to go check it out. All right, check it out. The Johnny Cash Hurt. Trust. Okay, back to some footy ball. Well, Howie's not ready to go back. Johnny's version was a goodbye to music, and especially the music video, right, where it had June in it, right, and it was kind of like sad. Did you ever see at least the Johnny Cash movie, Zach? Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix. It's really good. It's really good. LaCroix, my wife has been buying that a lot too. Yeah, it's pretty good. I dig it, but not as much as this Topo Chico so far. It's my fave. Are you a Dre fan?
Dr. Dre, not really. I mean, he's too old. I was a big Eminem growing up. Wayne, Jay-Z. Now it's a little different. The legends are gone, Chad. Definitely not Macklemore, Todd. Definitely not.
Is it Macklemore or Macklemore?
I think it's Macklemore.
Weirdness. What about I gotta ask you.
Remember Thrift Shop, Chad? That song 10 years ago.
Which song?
I would think it was called Thrift Shop with Macklemore. It was on the radio every day. It was the biggest.
What's the hook? I never listened to the. What's the hook though?
I'm not singing it, but if you looked it up, you definitely recognize it. That was Macklemore.
Okay. Wait, but let me ask you this: since we're sitting here on a Thursday night, waiting patiently for the first Broncos preseason game, Roy's like Metallica. What about this emo rap stuff? My sons are into big time, dude. Let me just throw a few names at you. Lil Peep.
No.
XXX something or other.
No. Extension. No.
Extension. All right.
Juice WRLD, I was into.
Juice WRLD, yeah. Juice WRLD.
Juice, yeah. I do like him a lot.
Okay, what about Uzi something or other?
Uzi's one of my favorite rappers. I wouldn't call him. What'd you say?
Emo rap.
Nah, he has some bangers, bro.
Okay. There you go. Rock's saying Tupac, my all-time favorite rapper.
Still alive out there somewhere. I'm convinced of it.
What about Metallica? Darkness imprisoning me.
Enter Sandman.
That's a good song.
You'd be proud of me though, Chad. You know what I was listening to the other day? I'm kind of getting into Alice in Chains. I don't know how you feel.
Dude, Lane.
Nutshell.
Which one?
Nutshell.
Oh, Nutshell, dude. It'll make you cry, bro. That song will make you cry. Lane Staley, greatest rock vocalist of all time. No one is better than that cat, dude. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Sad what happened to him, but yeah, that song is killed, dude. I love that song, especially the way the vocals come in. It's so haunting. The way those two voices always harmonized, very unique. Alice in Chains.
When you're in your feels, it's a good song.
It really is, dude. What about this cat? We've been seeing a lot of this with the politics thing lately because of the attempt on the former president's life. You know that there's a 50 Cent song that has been used in the meme wars quite a lot. What are your thoughts on this cat?
Many men.
Yeah, that song.
I won't rap it, but last time I paid attention to 50 is when he turned into a dollar bill at the Super Bowl. He was looking a little puffy there, Chad, hanging from the monkey bars. But he was a good rapper back in the day. His first album, Todd, was a certified classic.
Oh, wait a minute. We got a Eric Smith saying Freebird. So you know what? My uncle Mark, R.I.P., was a huge Skynyrd fan. Okay, Leonard Skynyrd. And so, of course, I know Freebird, right? I know all the good, Southern rocks bands from the 70s. But one of my favorite modern bands of all time is called Deftones, and they covered is it Freebird? No, it's not Freebird because I'm free as a bird. What's the one about the sun, dude? Hold on. Because I'm a simple man. Simple kind of man. I got confused. Both Skynyrd songs, but Eric Smith, I don't fault you at all. Freebird, let's go. Check out the Deftones version though of Simple Man. The Dutch is saying San Pellegrino for me. Oh. You mean this business? See, I've been trying them all. I've been
ready for that.
Yeah, I dig it too. And I'm glad you mentioned that because my wife, she's not feeling this Pellegrino business. I like this kind better, but I dig this Pellegrino, if that's how it's said. Thank you for the second super chat.
Michaela.
Love you, Michaela. Can't wait to see you in a couple weeks, a few weeks. It's a few weeks. Yeah, Simple Man. What was that, Scott? Okay. Now we're going to talk about the drummer. We're going to shift gears and talk about Neil Peart. I think Peyton was a huge Rush fan. I agree with you, Phil. Like, Peyton does seem high on Peart. Like, how could you not be? Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about not the Hall of Fame drummer. You're talking about the
swing tackle.
The swing tackle jag, Matt Peart. How has he looked in camp, Zach? Your thoughts?
He's looked like a swing tackle, I guess. And, I don't think any ground lost, any ground gained for Peart. But the one person competing for the same job that Peyton did talk up is Alpal.
Yeah, Alpal. That's our resolution, right? Alpal.
Second-year former undrafted free agent. I think he could eventually, with the right tutelage of Zach Strief and Sean Payton, work his way into that swing job. And like I said earlier, big Juice WRLD fan. What's up, Coop? Do you like Trippy Red as well? I think you do with the 999. Let me know, though. But anyway, Chad, it would be nice, regardless of who it is, if someone developed into a long-term number 2 behind McGlinchey and Bowles.
Yeah, they need someone. And even Sean Payton was saying, hey, look, he sent a message the other day. He was talking, even used Matt Peart's name. Like, hey, we need to find a bona fide swing guy who's going to step up. It'll be interesting to see if Peart answers that bell. But guys, we're about 41 minutes in. We're having good time here. So any burning topics or questions or supers, get them in the chat. Diamond, though, a man after our own heart here, Zach. Watching The Sopranos makes me want to drink that. Yeah. Sopranos, dude. Okay. Greatest television show of all time.
Easy.
Sopranos. Second best television show of all time, though. That's the one that's truly up for debate. You cannot debate anything but Sopranos. Change the game. So
I'd say
good.
The Wire.
The Wire. Like
Great
they say on Family Guy.
Yeah.
What about Breaking Bad? Have you watched Breaking Bad?
I tried. I'm like the only one who can't get into it.
Interesting. Okay.
And Game of Thrones too. I didn't like a lot of the popular shows that everyone.
Well,
loved.
Thrones is like you kind of got to slightly be into fantasy as a genre.
That's where it
slightly.
loses me, I guess. Yeah.
But that was one of the appeals of Thrones is that people who weren't into wizards and hobbits and dragons and all that found it compelling or whatever. But yeah, nothing like Sopranos. And you know what, dude, Zach? Here's how big of a Sopranos fan I am. I will sit and watch The Many Saints of Newark and like it, even though it's really not that good.
It was disappointing.
It's kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how much I love Sopranos. I'll sit and watch it because you at least get to see how Christopher Moltisante's dad, the whole thing about Dickie and all that stuff. I love it.
I mean, we both watched the pod. I watched a podcast about that show and then bought a book about the podcast about the show. So yeah, the GOAT, number 1 forever.
Which you gifted me. I have the copy.
That's right. It's real, Chad. We're true diehards.
And this one, I'm a Shane truther. When Shane died, Walking Dead got boring as all get out to me. So I'll watch it. I think, I don't know, somewhere in season 2, he ceases. I don't remember exactly. It's been too long. But I actually dug that show up until Shane was out of the picture. Then to me, it just got so boring, dude. It was the same thing. Every episode was the exact same. Did you ever get into The Walking Dead?
No, but I want to throw something out there. It's a show that I loved. I don't think a lot of people either watched it or liked it as much as me, but Oz.
I love Oz. Yeah. Dude, I'm OG HBO. Let's go.
Yeah, that was a show that's criminally underrated, and I think it should be not number 1, but it's definitely one of the better shows in recent history.
The cool thing about Oz too is without Oz, you don't get Sopranos, meaning that Oz showed HBO that original programming,
right?
They could lean into it, and it might boost their subscriptions and all that. Even back then, like people calling and adding it on their cable bill or their satellite or whatever. But yeah, it's good, dude. I love Oz. Yeah, Michaela, September 15th. Yep, September 15th, week 2, Broncos Steelers. And can't wait, dude. It's going to be a gas. It's going to be an absolute gas. Naj, I bet Naj doesn't watch TV. No, really. This dude is like so eye on the prize. He might listen to like podcasts like ours and others, but I bet Naj hardly even watches anything except football, maybe. I don't know. Naj, you'll have to correct me if my read is wrong. Oh, I kind of dug Orange is the New Black at first, and then I kind of got over it. I burned out on it real fast. Star Trek Pearl saying, man, that's OG. That's OG. I remember though when I was growing up, Zach. See, this shows you that I'm 10 years older than Zach. The next generation was still putting out new episodes each year. Like it was, Captain Picard or whatever. Data. I don't even remember. I never really got into it that much. Star Trek. I don't know. Something about it to me is kind of nerdy, and that's coming from a Star Wars fan. And they're like, "Oh, so you need magic in order to like your make believe science fictions, the Force?" I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of need magic. Science is kind of boring to me. Sorry."
I'm just scrolling through here.
Yellowstone, yeah, trust.
Good show.
That surprised me, dude. My dad was like, "Yeah, you got to check out this Yellowstone Costner." Yeah. I'm like, "Okay, Dad, yeah." I was like, "Yo, this is actually really good. It's good."
See, I'm trying to see if any show I see like The Shield, Dexter. I don't get it.
Shield was dope, dude.
No, I'm more of a documentary guy, Chad. Really, like it's tough for me to get into a show. Like I watched every episode of New Girl, for example, only because my girl made me. I do like Arrested Development though, for a comedy kind of sitcom. Jason Bateman's hysterical.
An analrapist, he's an analrapist.
So that's good, inside joke. I'm going to tell you a story about that.
Just so smart.
Yeah, but documentary is the way to go for me.
Sons of Anarchy is great. I loved Sons. I loved it. I went through a phase. Exactly, Diamond. Holy cow. If that would have been a True Detective, if that would have been like the status quo for that show, would have been the greatest show. To me, it would have been on par with The Sopranos. But then they're like, we're going to go with like it's a different story unrelated each season, and that sucked. But Zach, you want to have your mind blown, dude. First season only of True Detective, McConaughey, Harrelson, trust. It's so good, dude. But Sons of Anarchy is really good. I don't know. I went through a phase, Zach, where like the only time I watch TV is bedtime. Because like are you the type of person that can just turn off the lights, lay down, and go to sleep?
No, I need the TV on.
I got to have something too. Cold. And it takes me like 2 hours for my brain to finally wind down to where my
I've seen it in person.
You have. That's true. That's true.
At the combine.
That's true, dude. What was it?
Blade the Glory. You just had your lights on your chest and you couldn't fall asleep till that hit rate.
That's right. But see, so that's where I would get, my wife and I would watch our shows like bedtime. Kids are in bed. And so over however long it's been, dude, I don't know, 17 years. We've watched a lot of shows. So anyway, yeah, True Detective. Good call out there, Rattler. You're getting some props tonight, big dog.
Entourage, Tyler Malone said, another great show.
See, I never watched Entourage. That's one of the few.
I actually used to own the DVDs of the first couple seasons. That's how much I enjoyed it. Really, really good, great show. Kind of fell off a little bit in the later seasons, but that's a good shout, Tyler.
I have to one of these days I will get around. Piven, man. I'll get around to it. You
ever seen Smoking Aces? The movie?
Oh yeah.
Jeremy Piven, tremendous.
It's got one of my favorite lines of a movie, which I cannot repeat on this show. That Chris Pine says toward the end. Pre Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, before he was famous. Trying to cut. My wife dug this. I find it bad luck to say the word, but my wife watched this show and loved it. She said it was really good. I didn't watch it. I heard this is really good too. Fargo. Only a Sith deals in absolutes, and this is true, Chris. Think about this. You drop an absolute in an absolute. Only a Sith deals. Only is an absolute, right? It is. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Obi-Wan Kenobi. # Lord Vader. Chris, thank you, big dog. Appreciate the super chat. You know what, dude? I got so bummed out at how Thrones ended, and I'm a book guy. My father, believe it or not, in his ignorance, I mean that in the true sense of the word, Zach, not knowing, right? Back in the 90s when Game of Thrones, the books, it's a series called Big Earn's getting in on this. The Munsters, Adam Family, cool. But the books is called A Song of Ice and Fire for my birthday because I was a huge reader and that was my favorite genre. My dad bought me the first 2 books to that. And I remember I was 16 or 17 or something like that, dude. And I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, yo, really? Keep reading like a lot of adult stuff. Let's just put it that way. So I've been a Thrones fan forever. They screwed it up, dude. They ended Thrones poorly. So I wasn't that stoked on House of the Dragon is the Cliff Notes version of what I'm getting at. But then I watched it and I was like, this is dope. Okay. And then the second season just came out. I've only watched the first episode, but if you're in the mood, Zach, for a little bit of like, I mean, any dramatic TV shows make believe, but like dragons and all this, that's really make believe. It's nothing's better. It does not get better than HBO's, except for the final season of Thrones.
I did like some of the raunchier stuff that I saw on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. But trying to go through in my head, anyone out there watch Receiver yet on Netflix? It was the follow up to Quarterback.
Oh, I saw it. I saw a thumbnail for it. Maybe I should watch it.
Bro, I was so let down. I watched 2 episodes so far. It seems like it's more like an MTV like frat style show than it is.
Harsh.
Yeah, I'm not as invested as I was last season. Quarterback was great, man.
Yeah.
I binge watched that in one day. It was great.
Now, that was the one with Rattler, right?
No, that was QB1, I think. Quarterback was with Mahomes. And Mariota.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
It was great.
That's the one that gave you love for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I'll always be a Kirko fan, man. He's a really good guy.
Gunsmoke. Yo, you're going to go Gunsmoke on me, dog? You're bringing up like childhood trauma for me, because my dad, dude, would like make me chill and watch Lonesome Dove. Like they do like the marathons or whatever on the weekends. I'm like a child and being forced to watch Lonesome Dove. I'm like, get me out of here. And that's Gunsmoke. It's way back there. Cowboy stuff. Cobra Kai. My kid loves that. Naj. Oh, you watching Cobra Kai? Hold on. What's Naj saying here? What's Naj saying on his shows? He at least watches Cobra Kai. Interesting. See, this is fun. Was it any good, Todd? The new Deadpool, was it good? That was fun. Okay, cool. The Rifleman. What's that one? You heard of this, Zach?
Mm-mm.
More information, please, Big Earn. Yeah, dude, that was me, but my dad making me watch Lonesome Dove, dude. I'm like, Dad, can we go throw the ball? No, Lonesome Dove. Okay, guys, fun convo. We got a couple messages for you before we dip on out. And the next time we come together and talk Broncos, it's going to be a gut reaction to the first preseason game. Yes, let's go. But a few messages for you.
Another tremendous episode and very fun off-topic episode of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on Twitter at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on Twitter at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like you always see us rocking, check out mhhmerch.com and get you some. Don't be afraid. Please do so. Drop us a like at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at mile_high_huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some of that merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please subscribe, like, and share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you, baby.
Battlestar Galactica. Let's go. That was one of those shows, Zach, I wanted to dig, but I just never could really get into it because, I love sci-fi and stuff. But anything Stephen King miniseries, I mean, Ronk, love you, big dog. Love you, big dog. Thank you for punctuating our show with some stars and a show of support. A mile high salute and a special shout out and flex to the great super chat superstars and supporters tonight, helping us keep the lights on. We got the Papa Bear, as is his way, opening things up for us early on. Thank you, David. Eric Flynn, the Ronk yet again, the Duchess Michaela Parker, Howie frickin' Day, Monica back in the house. It's been great to have you in the chats the last couple nights. Phil down in Tucson, Taylor Christensen, reliable, consistent, the legendary mythical Naj, George Fox, let's see, and Chris Chances. That's all the names. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Those of you contributing in the chat, we love you. Tomorrow you got some Dove Valley deep divers. I believe it's Eric and Kenneth Booker once again. So interesting. Then of course, Ron and Dylan, Orange and Blue View Saturday night. And then Zach and I return for the first true Zach gut reaction of 2024. I cannot wait. I'm seriously counting the hours.
You and me both, brother. I will see you Sunday. I will see all of you Sunday. Have a great weekend. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.